Jay, obviously you're disappointed the vote fails to reunite in all sports.
Yeah, I was excited leading up to this, but walking in here this morning, it's just had that feeling when you're walking in that it wasn't going to go our way again, and it hasn't, and it's disappointing.
You were the Fed football coach of the last real championship in Louisiana. The last game was played in the Dome as a united group. In 5A, you won the state championship. Is that the last time we're ever going to see that?
Well, the longer we wait to put it back together, people forget how it was at one point. And I feel sorry for the athletes in the state of Louisiana that do not get to experience what it's like to have a chance to play for a true championship. I mean, very seldom. I mean, you have a lot of kids that don't even get a chance to play for it because you got to be one of the top two teams, And now, if you get there, it's two different games and two different sites and two different champions. And I don't. There's really not room for that.
Do you think it's misunderstanding, a lack of trust, or both when it comes to public schools versus private schools?
Repeat that again.
Do you think it's misunderstanding or a lack of trust when it comes to public schools and how they view private schools, or both?
I think it's a misunderstanding. I mean, for years before Rummel ever played in a state championship game, the teams from up north, West Monroe, Ouachita, Neville, Ruston made it, and nobody complained. We just knew we had to get better to compete with schools like that. Then the Destrans and Hornbills made it, and hey, we got to get better. People, you just got to take your program and get better. And sometimes staying home on a Friday night, first week of the playoffs, when you don't deserve to be there, is not a bad lesson to be learned. There's too many teams playing for championships, getting into the playoffs.
Can you move forward from this? Is there another chance, or do you think we're reaching the end of this rope here?
I think as long as we're a governing body like we are, people can make proposals and amendments, and there'll be proposals every year. But it seems like the more we come back with it every year, the less chance we have of bringing this thing back together.
If I said to you I thought it was over, what you would say?
I'd say there'll be a vote next year again. There'll be a vote again,
Won't change it.
I don't know. I mean, I think if you have coaches voting for the sport, I think you have a better chance. Coaches understand. I really do. I really do.
Have you looked at the history of 5A and 4A as a top class? The state playoff, especially 5A, it's always been 3 public schools win, 2 non-public schools win. It's always 3-2 in favor of the publics, except for the year before.
In 2012, where it was all private, and that seemed to set everybody off.
Yeah, I mean, so all that history didn't matter anymore.
No, it didn't. It was just what happened that one year, and people got upset about it. But look, I enjoyed playing the public schools. I enjoyed taking my teams on the road in the past. I enjoyed having playoff games in different small towns. And I enjoyed hosting teams coming into New Orleans to play playoff games. And that's what the kids and the athletes are missing now. And it's a shame.
You don't want to play the same team twice in a year.
No, you don't want to play the same teams twice. It was great going to Ouachita, Karen Crow, Lake Charles to play a playoff game, putting kids on a bus. And I think it would be the same for schools that come to the city to play. It was exciting for them to come to the city and play a playoff game leading up to the state championship games in the Dome. And Mr. Bonon's right. We all belong in the Dome. But it's 5 classifications, not 9 games in the Dome.
You said when you got here, you got a different feeling. You were excited when you got. What gave you that different feeling?
Just when I walked in, it's like playing your best friend in football. The day of the game, you really don't talk. It was like coming in here today. Your best friends are here, and you really don't talk to each other because you know how you're going to vote. And everybody will get back to talking to each other in a week or two. But it's like that big game. You just everybody was kind of distant this morning.
What is the misunderstanding between select and non-select schools?
Well, I know it has to do with enrollments and getting kids in school and where you get them. But that happens on both sides. That happens on both sides.
Does anybody pay no tuition or little tuition to go to your high school?
No. Financial aid based on need like every other school does, And that's how it's always worked since the Christian Brothers opened Rummel up in the 60s, Financial aid based on need for education. That's it.
Some just know how to do it better.
I know we do it right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys.